Good morning. This is Jason Dean coming live at you again for another Film Fanatic show. It is about 11:09 on a Sunday. Um, Pretty normal weather day today. Here we are in the first weekend of February 2024. Hard to believe. Time goes by pretty darn quick. Hope everyone's doing good. So yeah, I just finished up yesterday. I just uploaded it. I actually recorded the video yesterday morning, which was Saturday, and then I got sidetracked with some things I was doing. I didn't have all that much time to upload it. It doesn't take a whole lot of time. Once I record a video and I think it came out pretty good, or it's presentable, sometimes I'll have to redo videos or make some changes and stuff. But generally, after I do a video, it doesn't take all that much time to get it going. I have to like type up a little bit of a synopsis of the review, and then I got to put the tags in there, and then I share it around. Find a good photo, hopefully, which probably takes a little bit more time than you would think. And but I did a video yesterday on Game of Thrones season 6. And then but then had kind of limited time. I had some things going on, and I had to leave, so I didn't have all that much time. So I didn't end up uploading it, but I did upload it this morning. So check that out. It's a mixed, it's a pretty mixed thing. Kind of bummed out by how the whole thing kind of panned out, because I invested a lot of time and effort. Well, not a lot of effort, but I was enjoying it thoroughly. But I put in a lot of time and money into watching the complete Game of Thrones series, and it was great. But I have to say, I would say about the second disc of season 6, for me, things went really haywire. I had lots of issues with the show in that season. It really, in all honesty, and it's been a few days since I've watched it. A lot of things happened in that season where I felt like it just took me out of that world, and I kind of lost any enthusiasm, and I just decided I need a break from watching it. I was kind of disappointed, well, pretty disappointed with the series, of where things had gone and where I left off. There's 2 more seasons in it, but as of now, I don't really want to continue it. I don't have any desire to. Part of me is like, well, I've been in it this far, why not go all the way? But you know what I mean? It's a lot of time to watch something I'm not super excited about. So anyway, check out that video. I just uploaded it this morning, and it will probably be the last video that I do on the Game of Thrones series. And with that being said, there are 8 seasons in total. I made it to about 6, and then I tapped out. So it is what it is. So now I'm back to doing stuff that, well, I will say, in all honesty, things that I love more than anything else. My favorite thing, my favorite style or genre of films to cover, and that of course is the horror exploitation world. So I got this really awesome combo disc. It has 2 really awesome um, super low budget grindhouse movies, um, Horror High, and also Stanley. I'm going to be doing a cover. Today's video is going to be on Horror High. I have never seen it before. This was a combo set that was put out by Vinegar Syndrome. At this point I have a lot of titles from Vinegar Syndrome. They're definitely one of the best companies when it comes to all things exploitation. They have a tremendous amount of films to within their catalog. And and I would say too, it's pretty safe to say that Vinegar Syndrome is definitely one of the probably one of the most prolific companies out there that specializes in all of these crazy releases of all of these really obscure exploitation movies. They're probably one of the one of the most popular companies. I definitely have quite a few titles of Blu-rays that were put out by Vinegar Syndrome. Very very cool. They're up there with Blue Underground, Mondo Macabre. Mondo Macabre being my favorite. Severin is another one that's really great. There's Synapse, all kinds of great companies. But I was really super excited. I went to Bull Moose. Trying to think the last time I went there. It's been a while. It's been about a month. No, I should say. Well, actually, no, it has been a month because I went there the last time I went to Bull Moose, which was in Bangor. I went up with my family. Bangor is about an hour away from here, from my house here in Northport. And I went up there with my family, my mom and dad, and then we went out to eat, and then we went to Bull Moose first, like kind of like what we usually do. And I've been going to the one in Bangor a lot more lately. I've been going every few months or so, and I find myself going to the one in Bangor more. I just feel that their selection has gotten better. I've been really disappointed with the selection at my usual place that I've always gone to, which is the Bull Moose in Waterville, Maine. Which is it's funny because of where I live. I live in pretty much a real, I don't know, central location. The towns, or well, towns, not really cities, but the smaller towns and then the bigger towns are all kind of in the middle of all of that. And each place is about an hour away. It's pretty funny. Like if you go to Waterville, or if I go to Bangor, Portland is further away, obviously, but Rockland, or it's funny. I'm close to things, but yet far away. Camden, Belfast, of course. But I usually, for years, I've been just going to the Waterville one, and I don't know what's been going on, but I've been really, in all honesty, kind of disappointed with a lot of uh, the movies that they have to offer. The selection has really changed quite a bit, and I think there's obviously some factors to that. But I think which is kind of one of my biggest fears, but I think it's inevitable and I think it's a thing. But I think it's really around the kind of where things are at as far as physical media. A lot of places, well, Best Buy in particular has like done away with it. All physical media, like you can't buy any more movies in store, and you can't even buy stuff online. And it has had a ripple effect. I've seen it in the market. The market of Blu-rays, physical media is something I pretty much pay attention to fairly often, and I've already seen that kind of the effects of that right away within weeks. And I noticed it at Bull Moose, and I think where suddenly a lot of these really obscure titles of a lot of these wacky and crazy exploitation movies just kind of disappeared, and it felt like the movies that you could find were obviously the more commercial films that they always have anyway, but it just felt like all of a sudden it was like a night and day difference. So it caused me to like basically stop going there, which is crazy. And that's a few months ago now, and since then I've been going to Bangor, which I originally used to go to until I discovered the Waterville. Each bull moose is pretty different from one another. It's kind of fun. It's kind of surprising, but each one is a little bit different from each other. So I've been going to the one in Bangor for the last couple of months. I've been up there like the last 3 or 4 trips that I've gone to Blue Moose has been up to Bangor, and I've been really pumped. It seems like their movie selection has gotten better and better. The music selection I've always felt has been better at the one in Bangor, but the movie selection seems like it's even better, especially around these kinds of movies. The more, the harder to get, the more low budget exploitation movies. So it's very cool. So I've been going up there and I got this combo pack. And usually combo packs, I do have a pretty good amount of these combo packs, and usually they're pretty good. You get two features for the price of one. But generally, what I find when I buy and they're Blu-rays, so the quality's really great. But generally, what I find when I buy the combo packs, where it's at least 2 films on for the price of one, there's not really there's barely any special features on any of the discs. There's not, if you really dig a movie, and there's been a ton of movies I've discovered that I have really like fallen in love with. There's a ton of movies that I want to. My first feeling or inclination when I get into a movie that I really, a movie that I have seen before, or a movie that I've seen for the first time that I'm really, really into and fired up about, my nerd part of my brain just goes on 11, and so I really want to like find out as much info about the director, the actors, the story behind it. And it's always, when you find a great movie that you've seen or haven't seen before, and you're just, you're seeing something for the first time. It's such an awesome like discovery when you find a good, collection of special features around that particular movie. And I was super excited. This disc is awesome. It's 2 discs, and I finished watching Horror High last night. I never seen this movie before, never heard of it before. I was just totally, I just totally fell in love with the artwork for this package. It's just super cool, and it was super cheap. It's beautiful package, 2 discs. I just watched Horror High last night for the first time, and this movie was totally kick ass. Totally kick ass. It exemplifies every reason and everything about why I love horror exploitation so much. It came out in 1974. It stars Pat Carty, Rosie Holitic, Nick Felix, and Austin Stoker, Michelle Farlene, and Amber Haynes, and Joe Green. And this movie is totally amazing. It was directed by Larry N. Stouffer. Again, this Horror High was a first time viewing, and it's so incredibly low budget, but the cast is really phenomenal. It's actually like I was expecting this movie to be more kind of low grade than it actually is. Like again, it's a total exploitation movie. It's like super uber low budget. The practical effects and kind of some of the acting and the dialogue is like completely ridiculous and absurd, but it's it's amazing. I have to say it's just awesome and so entertaining. But the further I got into this movie, I realized, wow, like this actually is a pretty well directed movie. Like it's actually good. It's actually it's well conceived, and I think even that being said, on a technical level, it's actually put together really really well. There's some really cool music. There's the cinematography is really cool in this movie. There's a lot of these cool angles of where the camera is at this there's there's a lot of scenes in the film where there's like this kind of unconventional way of how they film some of these scenes of where everything the camera is kind of tilted in this like odd angle a lot, or for a lot of these scenes, and so it has a very kind of disorienting quality, but in a good way, and it adds to the film. Also has a very psychedelic quality to it at times, and it and I think like the way that it's used, especially around the cinematography and the editing. There's scenes of where it cuts to black and white at times, and there's this like kind of delay reverb effect put on the voices, so it creates kind of this like psychedelic experience. And again, with these odd kind of placements of where the camera is, it creates it's a little bit disjointed. It's a little bit surrealist, or it is a kind of a surrealist movie, but very very cool, very effective. But I noticed the further I got into this movie, and the more I was digging it, I was like, this is actually really good. This is actually really well acted. There's some really cool key points in this film that I feel give the film a higher a level than I was kind of expecting. Where a lot of these exploitation movies, especially these like really obscure ones, the ones that are kind of at the bottom of the barrel, they're pretty rough sometimes to get through, but they all have, at least in my experience, for the most part, something really great and lovable about them. But they're generally like super low grade, obviously incredibly low budget. But this film has that, but it's actually higher quality. I think it's actually a good film, a really well done film. The story of it is pretty wacky and hilarious. It's basically about this kid who is in this science class, and what they're doing in these science classes is they're experimenting with different kinds of concoctions or serums. And this kid who is he's a teenager who's like being picked on by his classmates, by his teachers. He's going through this really rough kind of adolescent patch, and he's kind of like getting it from everyone. And so he takes this concoction that he has created, and it essentially like turns him into this monster, and he ends up going after each of these people and killing them. And it's hilarious. It's actually really gory too. There's a lot of cool practical effects in this movie. I mean, when you think that this came out in '73, it's crazy. But the practical effects are really great. The music is fantastic. It's actually gory. It's more of a gory film than I thought it would be. Super campy, very funny at times, and it's very much kind of a, I don't know, like a coming of age film, like a high school movie, and it has elements of like the classic story, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It has that involved. I think a little bit taken from the Frankenstein story. Definitely a little bit more in the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I think even I'd say too it has the quality, has some elements from the Wolfman, or an element taken from the some of the great werewolf films that have come out. It's definitely a horror film, and but it's super entertaining. It's so damn entertaining. I was super pumped. My favorite part, or my I would say my favorite two actors in the film is Austin Stoker. He's just awesome. He was a really popular character actor in the '70s. He's been in a ton of movies. He plays the head cop who is kind of investigating these murders that are happening. Pat Carty, who plays the lead, is pretty fantastic in it. Rosie Holitic is really great in this film. But again, I never have seen this movie. never heard of it before, and I watched it for the first time last night, and it was fabulous. The special features on this disc are just really awesome. There's interviews with all of the cast and they go into great detail about the film, about kind of their careers, the weird ways how they got into becoming actors and how they got involved with the film industry. It's really great. It's really candid, super cool. And again, I was really surprised because it's a a combo pack, and typically they don't you just get the two movies and then that's it. But this is a really great price and great package. I think I got this super cheap. Was like less than $10, and it's really great. It's all Blu-ray quality. It's fantastic. So super psyched. I thought Horror High was just fantastic. And right now, which I'm almost finished. I started watching it on the later side last night. Almost finished with it, and uh, I'm totally digging it. It's so awesome, and it's so different in every way from Horror High. And that is this movie Stanley, and I'm going to be doing a show on that also. So stay tuned for video on that when I'm finished with it. But super cool! What an awesome addition to my Blu-ray collection and my Exploitation collection. So this is Jason Dean, and we will see you next time. Peace.